Hi, this is Catherine. This is Taking Tea with Catherine, and this is the Taste of British History blend. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's Harney and Sons. It's from their Metropolitan Museum of Art line, which I can never find online. So I happened to be finally in the Soho neighborhood last week, and I said, well, let's get it. So that it's kind of a haul, but I have other things coming in. There was a Boxing Day sale from another tea company, so you may see another haul coming up. I don't know. But this is sort of like an Earl Grey because it's black tea, green tea, and bergamot. Kind of nice thing to have in the afternoon, I think. Nice combination of things. So, it's a new tea, it's a new year, it's a new month, everything. January 2021. I thought, I always overwhelm myself with so many books to read every month, and I always have a bunch of books to carry on from other months. So let's maybe keep this TBR as small as possible. Didn't work out. I just love having options, and you know what? It is a TBR, but if I don't pick up all of these books, I think that's perfectly all right. But it does sort of go with a lot of my goals, except for, well, one book is pretty big, but I don't have any of my massive tomes that I plan to read in this pile. But you never know. I might start one of them in January. We'll see. So the good thing about some of these books is not all of these are very large. So I'm going to show you a lot of books, but they're not all overwhelmingly, oh no, what am I going to do? So, I'll show you the shorter books first before I show you anything else. Just needed to have some tea, man. Got a frog in my throat. Okay. So I'll start with the actual beginning because I think it's Hannah at Hannah's Books said, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's her because she is a fellow fan of 84 Charing Cross Road. She seems to love it as much as I do, and which is, not something I find very often, although quite a few people on BookTube have been falling in love with this book. But I'm pretty sure it was she that said that every January 1st, she and some other people, at least Hannah, reads this book on January 1st, just full through. And it's entirely possible to do so. So I thought I could do that because last year I think I read Helene Hamp's books in January and February again, like I did a reread. And it just, even though I could read her books any time of year, it does feel a bit cozy, wintry somehow. New York, London-ish, So I am very happy to do that on January 1st. I really, really hope I actually do so. I think I will, but I was thinking, what if something comes up? No, we're gonna do it. So that's one book, and yeah, I should just knock that out in a day. And then this book doesn't look tiny, but I did read one of the books is a book of two books and a story and the story collection. So I have, this is the complete fiction of can't say her name, Nella Larson, and I read Quicksand last year and liked it. I mean, it was a little sad in some parts. Well, sad. What isn't sad nowadays? But but in an interesting way. And Passing is what I aim for in January because I have heard so many good things about it and how interesting it was and what a classic it was too. So that will not only correspond with yet more goals to read more classics, but it will also be very completionist to finish both of her novels. But there's also some stories in here, so maybe I'll read that another time. But just to focus on Passing for now, I guess. I don't see any stories in here, do I? Let me see. Maybe, because I see Quicksand. I see an introduction. Oh yeah, there are. So maybe I'll find the time to do that. I don't know if I'll find the time to do it in January, but and this one, I know there are some people who are attempting to read translated works everywhere, and they're focusing, I think, what did I hear, on Japan in January. I'm not reading this for that, although that's nice. I wouldn't mind. I just cannot commit to another read along, even if I like the sound of it. But I really like the look of this book, and I've wanted to read it for a while, and I don't think it's very wintry looking, but, well, actually the cover kind of does, because it's all whitish, so it kind of looks like snow or whatever, if that's enough justification. But A Cat, a Man, and Two Women by Junichiro Tanizaki. So I think I put this on my TBR of translated works. So that would be nice. And it really is. It's, let me see, it's not even, it's 123 pages. So I mean, that's short. That's short. It might, I think the writer here died in 1965. So in some ways, he also could be counted as a classic. Not he, but, well, maybe. But the book, I noticed that one of his other works of fiction is called Quicksand. I was like, that's two writers who wrote quicksand books or stories. That is weird, but that's okay. All right. So where are we? Okay, a couple of mysteries. I thought, you know, beyond the books I'm going to have coming at me from the library, because yes, I do that to myself. I have library books like you wouldn't believe on hold, at home, etc. What can I say? And so yeah, there will be some cozies that are coming in. But I thought I would start this. It's a series of books that I've heard of many times. I bought this in a sale, and now I keep seeing, I have picked up a couple of the books when I'm in book off, because, you know, for $1. So I have a few books, but I don't think I have all the books like in order in the series. But at least I could start with the first one. Only heard good things about this, and that is Maisie Dobbs from Jacqueline Winspear. And I think it's a World War I era, at least at the beginning. So I don't know much about it. Or is it? Maybe it's the aftermath of the Great War. You know, I come into this really not knowing much, and I kind of like that. Okay, it says spring 1929, so between the wars. Actually, I like that too. So, and you can see that it's London in the picture anyway, so this, you know, floats all my boats. So, you know, I can never say no to mysteries. And I also picked one of the British Library crime classics. I picked one that my sister has out of the library, because I figured at least I won't be alone in reading it. Not that I mind being alone and reading books, but you know, it's always kind of fun to have someone else reading around the same time to talk it over with. And this is also a London mystery, because I can't stop myself. This is Small Bone Deceased, the funniest title ever. A London mystery by Michael Gilbert. So, yeah, it involves a law firm, and he wrote from 1912 to 2006, so this is not quite during the very golden age time, I don't think, but let's see. Copyright 1939 by Michael Gilbert. So maybe like slightly, but going into World War II. So I'm very excited about this because, well, I'm always excited about these. Even the mediocre ones that I've read of the British Library crime classics have been good. And I just really love the design and the cover. Actually, along those lines, this, the Soho crime books that are out, I actually like a lot too. So, you know, happy with everything here. I don't just read books for their aesthetic, you know that, but nevertheless. Okay, so where are we? I don't have a lot of nonfiction here, although there is a little bit. And I thought I would focus on a nature writing book, if I can get to it. I really hope I can. This looked also very wintry, because it has a bird that looks like it hangs out on ice, or whatever. Puffins, you know. The Seabird's Cry by Adam Nicholson. It is the lives and loves of puffins, gannets, and other ocean voyagers. So that could be nice. That could be a little bit of outdoorsy-ness that I probably won't be getting that much of in January. But we'll see. And I really just want to get back into nature writing again, because I haven't been reading much in that. I read something in November, but like just not enough. Not enough. And I really do like the feeling of this book too. So I really do hope I can do that. And especially since I want, despite the fact that I'm reading a lot of novels, I do really want to get to nonfiction books more than anything when I can. I don't see a lot of history here, although I do see, shall I attempt this in January? The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I've had this for a little bit, not too long, but I don't know. I just kept hearing things about it, and mostly good things. I've heard some people not quite like it, but I figure I want to see what all the fuss is about. I did a tag, the Dark Academia tag, a few months ago, maybe now, because time just keeps going. And this is kind of that whole aesthetic, sorry, not aesthetic, I know, I can't pronounce things, of the Dark Academia, and then their offshoots, but it, a lot of it kind of was inspired by this book. Apparently this is like one of the books that everybody talks about as their like Bible, you know, which, I mean, this could be good or it could be very annoying. I don't know. I do like books that take place in schools, you know, universities, boarding schools, that kind of thing. It can be very good. So maybe I'll like it, and if not, well, now I'll know. Let's see. Shifting slightly. Now, this one I mentioned when I did my translated books. I've been meaning to read this for a billion years. This was made into a movie also a billion years ago. And it's a novel in monthly installments, as it says in the cover. So will I just read January and then just stop from there? Because I've got about 20 pages per month-ish. And could I just stop there and then read February and February? We'll see. You know, I don't need to, but if I find that I'm overwhelmed with a lot of books to read, then it might be nice to have a book that I could stop at a certain point and then continue on the next month. We'll see. That's Like Water for Chocolate by Laura Esquivel. So, you know, I've heard a lot of nice things. I've been spoiled a lot about this book. I just, you know, I heard someone was mentioning it on BookTube actually and gave away a whole plot point, and I was like, thanks, but it has been out for a while, so it's good to read it. Someone gave that to me actually, and I've been meaning to read it for over a year now. All right, so now moving on to classics. Like classics, like well, I already did show you some classics, so I'm acting like this is new. But anyway, I don't know what to talk about. But okay, first of all, last year, I guess it was January. Can't remember if I finished it in January or February, but definitely took up another Trollope. I restarted my Trollope reading because I finished off around 2010, 2011. I can't remember exactly when I finished off. Could have been before that, but I knew I liked Trollope, and I bought a whole bunch of his books. Some you know, from the Palliser series, some from the Barset series, and some standalones. And I sometimes didn't know some were in the series, like the Eustace Diamonds. I did not know was part of the Palliser. You know, and I just sort of left off and kept wanting to return to Trollope. I just never seemed to, and I kept watching my sister as she kept picking up Trollopes and sometimes borrowing mine because I wasn't reading them. So finally in October 2019, I read Can You Forgive Her? And suddenly I was like, man, why have I not been reading Trollope? So in January, I picked up Barchester Towers, which is the second book in that series. And I had started that book a long time ago and just, I don't know, left off. It wasn't like DNF on purpose. I didn't continue. And so I started all over again, loved it so much. And I just kept going in that line. And so I read that. I read Dr. Thorne. And I guess this is the next one. I feel like I'm leaving one out. But because I read The Walden, which is the first one, a while back. And this is Framley Parsonage by Anthony Trollope. And I'm told that it starts out a little slow, but then picks up and is good and is worth reading. I know it comes before The Small House at Allington, which is the one I've been really trying to... Is it Allington? I think. I've been really looking forward to reading that one because I've just heard it's great. Like, even as a standalone, it would be great, but I want to read these in order. I really do. So, I don't know, this one got a little busted, but that's okay. It'll make me enjoy carrying it around, maybe. Not that I go out that much, but you never know. So, quite excited about that. I just love Trollope. I love Trollope any time of year, but let's face it, British classics do feel great in the cold weather. I don't know. Not maybe in the bleak, coldest of weather, but that's okay too. I don't know how January is going to be. The first couple of days, it seems like it's going to be a little bit warmer than than freezing, so, you know, whatever. Okay, but if I really want to get in the mood for some wintry reading, I'm assuming it's going to be very wintry, I just, you know, it just seems like it's going to be. And even if it isn't, even if it took place in the summer, it's going to feel wintry to me, because that's what I associate Russian literature with. Not that I'm very well versed in Russian literature. Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky. Fyodor? I don't know. Dostoevsky. I have had this for as long as there's been collector's library editions, and I kept saying, I mean, you could tell how it's untouched. I kept saying I wanted to read Dostoevsky. I tried Tolstoy, and I want to try again. But I have a couple of books by Dostoevsky. I also have The Idiot, which I wanted to read. I think I might have the Brothers Karamazov. One of these books was one of my dad's favorite books, and I can't remember which one it was. But I thought, man, I want to read this, but this is really something I didn't want to read on my own. I wanted to have someone to discuss it with. And then there was a proposed buddy read that turned into a group read, which is great, that I decided to join up with. And the goal is to read this in 1 month. So this could probably take up a lot of my reading, but I am willing to give it a shot. It is, let's see, it's a pretty big book. It is over 700 pages, and that's a lot, but if it's broken up pretty well, I might be able to pull it off. And again, it's over 700 pages, but they're not very big pages. And I've read books just slightly smaller than this in, like Jane Austen July, whatever. So, I mean, I don't know. I like this edition. Yeah, I don't, love the fact that it's a little delicate. Like, I feel very nervous about putting, like, post-it stickies or whatever. Maybe I could, but I just know myself. I'd end up tearing up pages, which I don't want to do. So it will give me a chance to exercise my usage of my book journal to write notes and stuff in, which is a whole experiment this year too. As I mentioned in a previous video, that I'm going to use a binder so that I can read a whole bunch of books at once and not feel like I'm jumping. We'll see how that goes. So that's really all the books that that I own that I intend to start. As you probably know, I have other books going. It's right behind me, yes. Stuff like The Count of Monte Cristo. I started this in, well, I thought I started in August, but I think really I kicked off in September and loved it, made progress, and then the months following I kept having other things that I was reading, and I just said, oh, I'll start it in January. I'll keep going in January. I'm sure I won't forget a lot of where I left off. And I think that the way I got into it in September, it flew through those, let's see, 322 pages. Yes, I know it's over 1,200 pages, but whatever. I might be able to read a couple hundred. You never know. I also have, yes, I'm not showing it to you because I'm so ashamed. I still have Dombey and Son going. I made progress, though, in December. I did read a big chunk of it, and I have a few other things going. That's great. I have another book that was going to be a group read in January, February, but I think they're leaning more toward February, so I don't really need to show this to you. I'm going to show you anyway, just because I love the look of this book, and I might just peek into it at some point in January, but I won't commit as much now that I know it's going to be more of a February book, and that's The Mother of the Brontes by Sharon Wright, When Mariah Met Patrick. So that could be good. I do still want to read the big Bronte book by, what's her name, Juliet Barker. Maybe I'll start that in February too. We'll see. So I think that's enough. Yes, I best laid plans of not complicating my life just doesn't work out. And that's fine because, I mean, January, you know? What are you going to do in January? Diet? Exercise? Yeah. But read, you know? So that's all for now. Let me know if you've been reading any of these books over recent times, or if you plan to read any of these books, if you have any other plans for January, etc. Please comment below. This is Catherine at Taking Tea with Catherine. Have a lovely tea, book-filled day, month, year.